A country where sheep outnumber people, where not a single snake lives, where nature displays its most breathtaking colors, from crystal clear lakes to boiling volcanic lava, towering glaciers and lush green forests. A place that millions of people call heaven on earth. We're talking about New Zealand. Located in the heart of the Pacific Ocean, this small island nation is so isolated from the rest of the world that many scientists consider it the remaining part of the long-submerged continent of Zealandia. Perhaps that's why its landscapes look unlike anywhere else on Earth. In one place, boiling water bursts from deep beneath the ground, while just a few hours away, ancient glaciers that have existed for thousands of years slowly make their way toward the sea. Some of its mountains have served as the setting for Hollywood's most famous fantasy films, while its caves are illuminated by millions of glowing insects on the ceiling, creating a breathtaking view that looks just like a star-filled night sky. But New Zealand isn't famous only for its stunning natural beauty. It is one of the last places on Earth to be settled by humans. The people here proudly call themselves Kiwis. The haka is far more than just a dance. It's a symbol of their identity, and this is the country that became the first in the world to grant women the right to vote. Today, it is also ranked among the world's top 15 happiest countries. And today, we're setting off on an unforgettable journey across New Zealand, where every breathtaking view will make you feel as if you've stepped into a paradise on Earth. New Zealand, the heaven on Earth. If you look for New Zealand on a world map, at first glance it appears to be nothing more than a small country made up of 2 islands. But the moment your journey begins, you realize this place is anything but ordinary. Along with its 2 main islands, the North Island and the South Island, New Zealand is also home to nearly 600 smaller islands. Surrounded by the vast Pacific Ocean, it is separated from the rest of the world. The Tasman Sea lies between New Zealand and its closest neighbor, Australia, while beautiful island nations like Fiji, Tonga, and the Cook Islands are located to its northeast. That's why New Zealand is considered one of the most isolated countries on Earth. But the most fascinating thing about New Zealand is its land itself. The country sits on the edge of the Pacific Ring of Fire, the region of the Earth where the highest number of volcanoes and earthquakes occur. It is home to more than 50 volcanoes, and many areas are still filled with geothermal activity. In some places, boiling water erupts from beneath the ground, while in others, steaming vents and bubbling mud pools constantly remind you that the earth beneath your feet is very much alive. According to scientists, New Zealand is the largest visible part of a vast continent known as Zealandia. Millions of years ago, this continent gradually sank beneath the ocean, and today nearly 94% of it remains hidden underwater. Perhaps that's why New Zealand's geology is unlike anywhere else in the world. Towering snow-covered peaks, turquoise lakes, dense rainforests, dramatic sea cliffs, and active volcanoes. All of these extraordinary natural wonders have made New Zealand one of the world's most spectacular travel destinations. The history. The first people of Aotearoa, friends. The New Zealand we see today was settled by humans much later than many other parts of the world. Scientists believe that around 700 to 800 years ago, skilled seafarers from Polynesia traveled thousands of kilometers across the ocean and became the first people to reach these islands. These people later came to be known as the Maori. They named this new land Aotearoa, which means land of the long white cloud. It is said that when their ancestors first arrived, the first thing they saw on the horizon was a long stretch of white clouds, and that's how the name came to be. The Maori people didn't just establish villages here, they built an entire civilization. They saw the forests, rivers, and mountains not merely as natural resources, but as the legacy of their ancestors. Their intricate wood carvings, traditional tamoko tattoos, warrior traditions, and the haka remain an important part of New Zealand's identity even today. For centuries, they were the only inhabitants of these islands. Several hundred years later, in 1642, Dutch explorer Abel Tasman became the first European to reach this land. Then, in 1769, British explorer James Cook arrived. He mapped New Zealand's coastline in great detail, and gradually, more Europeans began settling here. This eventually led to the Treaty of Waitangi in 1840, which laid the foundation for modern New Zealand. Even today, it is regarded as the most important agreement in the country's history. Now, let's begin a journey across New Zealand that will leave you amazed. Auckland, the city of volcanoes. Auckland is often called the gateway to New Zealand. Most travelers from around the world begin their journey in this city. At first glance, it looks like a modern metropolis, but its most fascinating feature isn't its skyline, it's the ground beneath it. Yes, Auckland is built on top of nearly 50 ancient volcanoes. These volcanoes have made the entire region incredibly fertile and beautiful. Volcanic cones like Mount Eden, located in the heart of the city, have transformed into lush green hills that offer breathtaking views of all of Auckland. Because it is surrounded by the sea, Auckland is also known as the City of Sails. Nearly every other home seems to have a boat or yacht. And on weekends, it's common to see locals heading out onto the water to enjoy the ocean. Standing in the heart of Auckland, the Sky Tower is the tallest structure in all of New Zealand. From the top, you can see the sparkling Waitomo Harbour on one side and a landscape dotted with ancient volcanoes stretching into the distance on the other. Rotorua, the boiling earth. Just a few hours from Auckland lies Rotorua, one of the most beautiful cities on New Zealand's North Island. As you get closer to the city, you'll begin to notice a distinct smell of sulfur in the air. Some people compare it to the smell of rotten eggs, but for the locals, it's simply part of everyday life. The reason is the constant geothermal activity beneath the Earth's surface, which has made Rotorua one of the most unique cities in the world. In many places, steam rises continuously from the ground. Some areas are filled with bubbling mud pools, while others are home to geysers that suddenly shoot boiling water high into the air. At Tepuia, the famous Pohutu geyser erupts several times a day, sending hot water and steam nearly 100 feet into the sky. Seeing this for the first time feels as if the earth itself is breathing. That's why Rotorua is often called the thermal heart of New Zealand. It's worth noting that centuries ago, the Maori people began using these natural hot springs for cooking, bathing, and keeping warm during the winter. Even today, many Maori villages continue to use the Earth's natural heat in their traditional way of life. Waitomo glowworm caves. Most caves around the world remain in complete darkness, 24 hours a day. But the moment you enter New Zealand's Waitomo caves, it feels as if the entire night sky has descended beneath the earth. Formed around 30 million years ago, these limestone caves are now world famous for their glowworms. As a small boat glides silently through the caves, millions of tiny blue-green lights begin to sparkle across the ceiling in the darkness, creating a breathtaking sight that looks just like a sky filled with stars. These glowworms produce their own natural light. They use this glow to attract tiny insects, while their extremely fine sticky threads hang down from the cave ceiling, almost invisible in the darkness. As soon as an insect is drawn toward the light, it becomes trapped in these threads and turns into the glowworm's prey. In other words, the beautiful lights that amaze us are actually part of these tiny creatures' hunting strategy. Today, the Waitomo glowworm caves are one of New Zealand's most popular tourist attractions. Every year, millions of visitors come here just to experience a few unforgettable minutes of this breathtaking silence. Hobbiton, the real Middle-earth. If you've watched The Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, you probably remember the rolling green hills and the charming little hobbit houses. But the surprising part is that this magical world wasn't created inside a movie studio. It really exists in New Zealand. Located in the Matamata region of the North Island, the Hobbiton movie set is now considered one of the world's most famous filming locations, and the story behind its creation is just as fascinating. In 1998, while director Peter Jackson was flying over the area in a helicopter, he spotted these lush green hills. He felt that there couldn't be a better place anywhere in the world to bring Middle-earth to life. More than 40 hobbit houses were later built here, and most of them have been carefully preserved exactly as they appeared during the filming. Today, millions of visitors from around the world come here to see the tiny round doors, stone pathways, colorful gardens, and the Green Dragon Inn that they first fell in love with on the big screen. Tongariro National Park, located in the heart of New Zealand's North Island. Tongariro National Park is not only the country's oldest national park, but also one of the most extraordinary natural landscapes in the world. It is home to not one or two, but three active volcanoes: Mount Tongariro, Mount Ngaruho, and Mount Ruapahu. The Tongariro Alpine Crossing is considered one of the most spectacular one-day hikes in the world. Along this nearly 20-kilometer trail, the scenery changes dramatically within just a few hours. In one area, you'll walk across landscapes covered in black volcanic rock, while a short distance later, brilliant turquoise lakes come into view. Steam rises from the ground in several places, and the strong smell of sulfur is impossible to miss, reminding you that the volcanoes beneath the surface are still active. This region is also deeply sacred to the Maori people. To them, these mountains are not simply masses of rock, they are a treasured part of their ancestral heritage. Wandi, Wellington. Now, let's head to Wellington, the capital of New Zealand. Located on the shores of the Cook Strait, between the North Island and the South Island, this city may be small in size, but it is considered the country's political, cultural, and artistic heart. Wellington is famous around the world for its powerful winds. At times, the wind blows so strongly that people have to struggle just to keep their balance while walking. That's exactly why it's often nicknamed Windy Wellington. But these same winds, combined with its beautiful waterfront harbor, give the city a character unlike anywhere else. If you visit Wellington, a ride on the Wellington cable car is a must. In just a few minutes, this small red cable car climbs from the heart of the city to the top of the hill, where you will be rewarded with breathtaking views of Wellington, its harbor, and the vast Pacific Ocean stretching into the distance. The city is also home to Te Papa Museum, one of New Zealand's finest museums, where the country's history, Maori culture, wildlife, and natural heritage are presented in a modern and engaging way. Interestingly, Weta Workshop, the world-famous company behind the visual effects and props for blockbuster films like The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and Avatar, is also located in Wellington. Every year, millions of movie lovers from around the world visit to experience its incredible work. The Cook Strait Ferry, nearly 76% of New Zealand's population, lives on the North Island. But if you ask any local which part of the country is the most beautiful, most of them will say the South Island without hesitation. And after exploring the major cities of the North Island, it's time to head to the South Island, aboard the Cook Strait Ferry. This journey takes about 3 to 3.5 hours and begins at Wellington Harbour. At first, the ferry slowly leaves the city behind and makes its way into the open sea. But the real spectacle begins a little later, when the ship enters the Marlborough Sounds. Suddenly, you're surrounded by lush green hills rising from the sea, flooded valleys, and dense forests in every direction. Millions of years ago, the Marlborough Sounds were a network of river valleys. Over time, rising sea levels flooded these valleys, creating the breathtaking landscape of countless sheltered bays and small islands that exist today. If you're lucky, you might even spot dolphins, seals, and several rare seabirds along the way, making this ferry ride one of the most unforgettable experiences of any trip to New Zealand. Milford Sound, the eighth wonder of the world, located in the southwestern corner of New Zealand's South Island. Milford Sound is a place so breathtaking that it's hard to believe it truly exists on Earth. Towering mountains rising thousands of feet straight from the sea, peaks hidden among the clouds, dense rainforests, and waterfalls plunging down the cliffs make it feel as though an artist has created an entire world from imagination. Millions of years ago, massive glaciers carved deep valleys through these mountains. Over time, the sea flooded those valleys, giving birth to the spectacular landscape known today as Milford Sound. Even the journey to reach this place is an adventure in itself. Along the way, you'll pass snow-covered peaks, crystal-clear lakes, dense forests, and dozens of waterfalls. And then comes the sight of Mitre Peak, rising nearly 1,700 meters above the fjord, a view so magnificent that words simply can't do it justice. Milford Sound is one of the wettest places on Earth. After heavy rainfall, hundreds of waterfalls pour down the mountainsides all at once, creating an unforgettable spectacle. During a cruise, it's common to spot fur seals, dolphins, and occasionally even the rare fjordland penguins. That's why Milford Sound is often called the eighth wonder of the world. Queenstown, the adventure capital of the world. Located on the shores of Lake Wakatipu in New Zealand's South Island, Queenstown is not only considered one of the most beautiful cities in the world, but it is also known worldwide as the adventure capital of the world. And the biggest reason for that is bungee jumping. In 1988, the world's first commercial bungee jump was launched from the Kawarau Bridge. Even today, thousands of people come here every year to experience the thrill of leaping from this bridge, which stands about 43 meters high. Besides bungee jumping, Queenstown also offers dozens of adventure activities, including skydiving, jet boating, paragliding, mountain biking, and skiing during the winter. But Queenstown isn't just for adventure seekers. Even if you've come here simply to enjoy nature, this city won't disappoint you. Watching the sunset over Lake Wakatipu, seeing the colors change across the surrounding mountains, and strolling through the peaceful streets in the cool evening air is an unforgettable experience in itself. Aoraki / Mount Cook, New Zealand's highest peak, New Zealand's highest mountain is Aoraki, which is better known today as Mount Cook. Standing at about 3,724 meters, this peak is not only a dream destination for mountaineers but also for nature lovers from around the world. Its snow-covered summit, glacier-filled valleys, and stunning turquoise lakes come together to create a truly breathtaking landscape. For the Maori people, Aoraki is much more than just a mountain. It is a sacred part of their heritage. According to their traditions, Aoraki is a revered ancestor who, over time, was transformed into a great stone mountain. Interestingly, the legendary mountaineer Sir Edmund Hillary spent years training in this region before successfully climbing Mount Everest. Even today, thousands of climbers from around the world come here to prepare for some of the world's greatest mountaineering challenges. Lake Tekapo, where the stars touch the earth. Just a short distance from Mount Cook lies Lake Tekapo, one of the most beautiful lakes in New Zealand. The first thing that captures your attention is its unique milky turquoise color. This remarkable shade comes from fine rock particles created as ancient glaciers grind against the mountains over thousands of years. These tiny particles flow into the lake, and when sunlight reflects off them, the water takes on its stunning turquoise hue. On the shores of the lake stands the small church of the Good Shepherd, one of the most photographed landmarks in New Zealand. But the true beauty of Lake Tekapo reveals itself after sunset. Because there is almost no light pollution here, the night sky comes alive with millions of stars, and on some occasions, you can even witness the breathtaking southern lights. Franz Josef and Fox Glacier, where glaciers meet the rainforest. Friends, glaciers are usually surrounded by nothing but snow and rock. But New Zealand's Franz Josef and Fox glaciers are unlike anywhere else in the world. Here, massive rivers of ice that have existed for thousands of years stand side by side with lush green rainforests. Both glaciers flow down from the southern Alps, slowly making their way into the valleys below. However, because of climate change, they have been retreating rapidly over the past few decades, and it's possible that their breathtaking beauty could disappear in the years to come. Visitors who come here can take helicopter tours that land directly on the glaciers, walk through ice caves, and experience the feeling of touching ice that is thousands of years old. Towering walls of blue ice on one side and dense rainforest on the other create a landscape so extraordinary that it's hard to believe both belong to the same place. Abel Tasman National Park, New Zealand's Golden Coast. If New Zealand is known for its snow-covered mountains and glaciers, then Abel Tasman National Park reveals a completely different side of the country. Located at the northern tip of the South Island, this national park is famous around the world for its golden beaches, turquoise waters, and lush coastal forests. At first glance, it's hard to believe this is the same country where, just a few hours earlier, you were surrounded by snow-covered mountains. The park's biggest attraction is the Abel Tasman Coast Track, which is considered one of the most beautiful coastal walks in the world. Throughout the journey, the ocean stretches alongside you on one side, while dense forests line the other. Along the way, you'll come across small golden beaches that can only be reached on foot or by kayak. That's why most visitors come here to experience both hiking and sea kayaking. The park is also home to Split Apple Rock, a massive granite boulder that appears to be perfectly divided into two halves. Looking at it, it almost seems as if someone sliced a giant apple in half and placed it in the middle of the sea. Kaikoura, Kingdom of Whales. Located on New Zealand's east coast, the small town of Kaikoura is considered one of the world's finest whale-watching destinations. What makes this place so remarkable is that just a short distance from the shoreline, the ocean floor suddenly drops thousands of meters. This allows nutrient-rich waters from the deep sea to rise to the surface. creating the perfect habitat for an incredible variety of marine life. That's why giant sperm whales can be seen here throughout the year. In addition to them, it's also common to spot dusky dolphins, orcas, humpback whales, blue whales, New Zealand fur seals, and albatrosses, which are among the largest flying seabirds in the world. Today, most visitors to Kaikoura take boat tours or helicopter flights to see these magnificent creatures in their natural habitat. It's not unusual for dozens of dolphins to swim alongside the boat while just a short distance away. A 15 to 18 meter long sperm whale rises to the surface to breathe. The moment lasts only a few minutes, but anyone lucky enough to witness it is unlikely to ever forget the experience. Life in New Zealand. People around the world know them as New Zealanders, but the people here prefer to call themselves Kiwis. The nickname comes from the rare kiwi bird, a flightless bird found only in New Zealand. As of 2025, the country's population is around 5.3 million, made up of European, Maori, and Asian communities that together form a multicultural society. New Zealand has 3 official languages: English, Maori, and New Zealand Sign Language, something found in only a handful of countries around the world. Although Wellington is the capital of New Zealand, Auckland is its largest city. Wellington was chosen as the capital because it is located almost halfway between the North Island and the South Island. New Zealand is also known around the world for its lifestyle. The people here are considered friendly, humble, and down to earth. Perhaps that's why the country is consistently ranked among the world's best for work-life balance. It has a literacy rate of around 99%, and children between the ages of 6 and 16 receive free and compulsory education. The healthcare system is also highly developed, and one of the country's greatest strengths is the respect and equality given to women. In fact, New Zealand was the first country in the world to grant women the right to vote. That's one of the reasons why it is now considered one of the happiest and most livable countries in the world. And when it comes to sports, rugby is more than just a game in New Zealand. It's a national passion. Before every match, the team's powerful haka performance has become one of the country's most recognizable traditions around the world. Besides rugby, cricket, netball, soccer, and basketball are also popular sports. So, friends, what did you think of the breathtaking beauty of New Zealand, often called heaven on earth? Would you like to travel to this incredible country? And which country would you like us to explore in our next video? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please support us by giving it a like and sharing it with others. And for more interesting travel documentaries like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell. Thank you.